Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to our ICAT Playdate. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Phyllis Newbill. I'm the Associate Director of Educational Networks at the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts, which you're going to hear a lot more about today. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. You are on video right now. There's a 360 camera right here in the middle of the room. So good morning to those of you who are watching online. We're glad you're here as well. But just know that in the room, you are being videoed right now, and your video will exist on the interwebs afterwards, so behave accordingly. There is somewhere in the room a clipboard. We appreciate it if you'll sign in on the clipboard. That's how we justify donuts and coffee, which are very important parts of our ICAT Playdates. So be sure you do that. When you have questions, just wait for me to get to you with the mic in the room so that folks online can hear you. And if you're online and you have questions, please use that link to let us know what questions you have, and Ashley will help us get those asked of the presenters. If you are a faculty member and Professional Development Network credit is helpful to you, just make sure you check in with me so I'll make sure that I give you your 100% for being here today. And if you're online, if you'll send me a note in the questions or send me an email, either one. Some announcements today. Coming up May 1st is ICAT Creativity and Innovation Day. We'll be celebrating all kinds of things that are at the nexus of science, engineering, arts, and design. Some things are ICAT funded, some things are ICAT classes or ICAT related classes. Some things are just wild new technologies. I think my favorite one this morning, we were just talking about the, you can learn how to do medical emergencies or learn the processes of what you do in a medical emergency. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is like what else is going on around you. So there's an immersive training that is cube-like. If you've been in the cube, you've seen that. So there's a training where you actually like practice dealing with your medical emergency, but you're on the football field and the fans are watching. So anyway, some immersive stuff. That'll be in the sandbox over at the Moss Art Center. I hope you'll be there. That is on Monday, May 1st. So make your plans to be there between 10 and 2. Then we'll come over here for a panel discussion on what happens beyond transdisciplinary education. So we've got some panelists who have been part of ICAT and have graduated and gone out into the world. We're excited about that. Also in with ICAT Day, Rhizomes. Rhizome is a living learning community from this building. They'll have their show that evening with some of the projects they've been working on for the year. And also there are 3 New Music Technology Festival concerts, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The May 1st one is in this building, and the 2nd and 3rd are at the Moss Art Center in the Cube. So I hope you'll check those out as well. That's a lot of information this morning. This morning's, every week we do this. We have a play date, we have donuts and coffee, we have questions, we have conversations. We are typically in either this space or the Cube. This morning we are going to feature one of ICAT's several centers, the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts. So I work on the educational networks side of that, although we collaborate a whole lot on everything. But I'm going to introduce to you this morning Dr. Chelsea Haines, who is our Associate Director of Broader Impacts. And I'm going to let Chelsea tell you all about what that means. But for those of you who haven't written an NSF grant before, but the Broader Impacts part is the part where you're beyond the research that you want to know more about, beyond your research questions. What are the broader impacts to society? And we can help you. Well, I'll let Chelsea, I don't want to steal that thunder, but we can help you extend that impact into some of the networks that we work with here in the region. Chelsea.
Thank you, Phyllis. Good morning, everyone. I will call our center CENI for short, so you will hear that language from me. So I'll talk to you a little bit about broader impacts, and then we'll bring up some of our successful National Science Foundation Career Grant Award winners that will share a little bit more about their projects and how they partnered with CENI for their broader impacts efforts. So my name is Chelsea Haines. Again, I'm the Associate Director of Broader Impacts, so I help faculty get their research out to the public, primarily through STEM, STEAM, pre-K-12, educational outreach, and workforce development. So NSF, like many other funders, have two main proposal criteria, one of which being intellectual merit. So that's like the science, what you're learning, your new discovery of knowledge. Another growing area of priority for NSF and other funders are broader impacts. So they want to see societal outcomes. They want to see how your research is making a difference, how it's transformational, what are the societal and public goods. And so that's where we come in. These are just a few of the suggested broader impacts outcomes provided by the National Science Foundation. This list is by no means exhaustive or inclusive. There are many, many ways that researchers can achieve their broader impacts. But these are suggested, these are some samples. And if you're doing any kind of work, wanting to do anything in the STEM, STEAM education area, including teacher professional development, educator development, informal learning, learning outside of a classroom, as well as training teachers, undergraduate research, graduate student mentoring, embedding diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, belonging into any aspect of the educational process. If you're looking to do workforce development, those are all things that CENI can help you with for your broader impacts. We can help you write sections of your proposal. We can help make connections with you. If you or have a museum exhibit idea, we'll help you find those folks within our area that can help you achieve that goal. And so we help researchers in three ways. One is through planning. So we help folks plan their broader impacts efforts. We review proposal criteria. We help match folks with areas of need in our community. We help make sure that your audience level, if like your age is appropriate, if you want to do something with K-12 students and you have a certain scientific concept that you're working with, will help you figure out what grade level is most appropriate. We offer liaison services. This is how we know if your outreach is needed or wanted. We have folks that are embedded within our local school systems and within our local museums that can tell us what their current needs are. We know that we have certain counties that need science skill development, especially for K-12 women, girls. And so we know that's a need. If we have a researcher that comes to us, we can match them appropriately. We also do evaluation. We measure impact, and we go beyond tracking. We track numbers. We help you think about what kind of existing data that you can use. We also look at different kinds of outcomes, be it like a learning outcome, be it something like skills or interests or awareness, other kind of effective outcomes. We can help you measure all those. We do a lot of work of measuring learning in informal learning environments, which is notoriously difficult. If I could have my CENI graduate student and undergraduate student employees raise your hand. So we have a nice cadre of folks, this is just a few of them, who are trained to do observation, we have folks that are trained to develop surveys, do focus groups, and so they're a great asset to us. They help us carry out so we can help our researchers show the data that they need. When we think about broader impacts, we really think of it from like a choose your own adventure. We want to help you do stuff that is fun, that you are passionate about, that really helps you show your love of science and share that with the public. And so whether you have aspirations of writing a book, like a picture book for kids, if you want to like get excited with a large group of kids at the science festival, if you want to help your graduate student researchers communicate their science, if you want to work with summer campers and help them learn about your neuroscience thing, we will help you figure out what that activity or activities are that kind of best suit you and best suit your career and how your science identity. These are just a few of our established networks, again, led by Dr. Phyllis Newbill. So Phyllis convenes weekly a group of our liaisons. So we have liaisons with Floyd County Public Schools, Montgomery County Public Schools, Radford City, Pulaski County. We also have a formal position with the Science Museum of Western Virginia, where I believe we have 9 Virginia Tech faculty and student research or funded exhibits. We also have informal but very strong relationships with folks at the Reynolds Homestead, with Wonder Universe, a children's museum down in Christiansburg. If you're looking to reach a younger group of children, we work very closely with the Virginia Tech Roanoke Center and the College Access Collaborative to put on a lot of our field trips and to help our school systems get to folks up in Roanoke. And a lot of our researchers assist us with some of that content. We also monthly, Phyllis brings together a group of educational outreach leaders across the campus. So we have representatives from different colleges, from the different sustained educational outreach events like Hokie Bug Fest. They come together once a month to share successes, share challenges, help each other out. And again, we use that network to help match up researchers appropriately. If one of our events is not a great fit for you, but we know one of our colleagues' events is a great fit, we'll help you get there, we'll introduce you, help you facilitate letters of collaboration that you would need. So now I'd like to turn it over again to two of our successful NSF Career Grant Award winners. They're both in different stages of their process. So we'll show you one who has stuff already going, already established, one who's a newer award winner, just to let you know more about what that process is like.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Lin Li. I'm an assistant professor in mechanical engineering department. Very glad to be here. So I would like to share with you one outreach project that we have been doing, and also have some pretty good success with the museum for that project. First of all, I just want to briefly say a little bit about my work. I'm a material scientist by training, so I'm interested in materials. More specifically, we like to solve materials challenges from learning from nature. So basically, how can we learn materials design lessons from natural systems? So for example, how can we make tough composites, right? Structural materials make a composite more stronger and tougher. And also another example we have been working on for past couple of years is how to make lightweight materials, right? Can you make structures lightweight and at the same time strong, right? So that's all related to porous materials actually. So the exhibit that I'm going to talk to you is about one of the porous materials that we recently discovered from the starfish skeleton. And also how to make materials multifunctional, right? You have a structural component, but at the same time, can you introduce other functionalities into the system? So for example, some of the mollusk shells, they are able to make their protective shell, right, for protect their body, but at the same time they produce optical elements embedded in the shell for sensing, for communication. Okay. This is the outreach project that I've been working with Chelsea, Phyllis since 2019, right? So we started the conversation with Phyllis first, and then at that time we already have some preliminary results and have a general idea in terms of what we like to do in this project. And then Phyllis brought me to the museum, and then we started the conversation and really talked about how to make this more practical in the sense of like a exhibit. And then the 2020 we got the award, and then that's when the COVID started. And then it caused some delay, but we continued the conversation, and I think sometime in 2021 we started the installation after the planning. And then last year, early summertime, we opened up the exhibit. So here are just some of the pictures for the exhibit. At the same time, the first paper got published. And so some pictures. We have exhibits, stand, right? And it consists of different aspects. We have 3D printed models, pictures, text, and also we have the virtual reality program, so that the visitors can actually, in this case, can really go inside of a biological skeleton. In this case, a starfish. Right? So the project is about starfish skeleton, and then the kids, right? So they can take the headset and walk inside a starfish skeleton, and this is really nice. This is the picture that we opened the exhibit. Just to give you, let me see. Oh yeah, so this is just one of the views that you can do. And so here, basically, you are standing inside of the skeleton, and you're looking at the individual skeletal element of the starfish. I mean, the real starfish is in a centimeter scale, right? But now it's like a mansion or castle kind of thing. It really creates like wow from the kids. Recently, we have talked to Mary, the president of the museum, the director, and it has been pretty positively received by the visitors. And so this is the experience that I had. I would say very enjoyable and successful working with CENI on this project. So I will turn you to Michael.
All right, thank you, and thank you all for coming today. So my name is Michael Schultz. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, and our research largely focuses on polymer chemistry. So I thought it would be useful to take a moment and discuss exactly what is a polymer. So a polymer is just a large molecule made up of many repeating units, and oftentimes when people hear the word, they immediately think of plastics. And that is certainly true. The polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrenes of the world are polymers. But polymer science actually encompasses much more than just those materials. So for example, the proteins and the DNA that make up much of life are also polymers, albeit with very specifically defined structures and repeat unit sequences. And so in our research, we're interested in synthesizing new materials with new properties. And oftentimes, in typical commodity plastics, these are made of large molecules of linear chains. But there are other structures that could also be accessed that have much more branching. And so kind of on the technical side of the grant, we think about new synthetic approaches to making these highly branched structures, and then look at how then those branching units affect the ultimate properties of the material. But oftentimes these properties are actually things that we can directly experience. So is the material hard, or is it soft? Is it sticky, or is it stretchy? And because we can directly experience the relationship between the molecular structure of this material and the ultimate physical properties, we thought that this could be an opportunity to have kind of hands-on demonstrations and activities that could teach people the relationship between molecular structure and physical property. And so this is a key concept in polymer science and is very foundational to much of what we do. And so we began very early in our process of developing this grant proposal to have conversations with Phyllis and Chelsea, thinking about ways that we could integrate some of these broader outreach activities in a larger scale or more streamlined approach. And so we've been collaborating with the Science Museum of Western Virginia and also CENI to try to develop a series of activities that could be integrated into an in-museum program and traveling outreach kit so that we could expand the scope of a lot of these activities. We're very much at the beginning of this process. It was a years-long conversation as we both developed the grant and then ultimately went through a couple iterations to get it funded. But right now we're at the stage of workshopping these activities to try to figure out what really works and what doesn't to communicate the underlying science that we're trying to do. I want to also highlight that one of the major advantages that working with CENI provides is that they can help a lot with the evaluation of these activities. So just like on the scientific side, where it's important to validate a lot of the methods that we're using, so also on the broader impact side, it's critical to have a scientific evaluation of how effective are these activities at producing the learning outcomes that we're going for in producing these broader impact and outreach activities. So at this point, we're still very much at the early stages, but we're excited to see what we can develop in the coming years.
So thank you all for coming. Those of you that might be applying for an NSF Career Grant, we would like to invite you to hang out for a minute after the presentation. We'd love to speak with you. We also have another more in-depth Broader Impacts 101 workshop coming up in May that is open to everyone. We'd love to have you register for that as well.
Thank you, Chelsea and Ling and Michael. That was wonderful. Thank you for all of your work and also for sharing it with us. What questions do we have in the room or online? If you're online, go ahead and type those in. How can we help? Or what questions do you have about processes? So quiet.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Lynn and Michael, for sharing your very nice experiences with us. And so my question is more about at the initial stage, when you first thought about what kind of activities could be a good extension of your research program. I know it's not a linear process, it could be non-linear, but if you can provide some insights about how you started this process and brainstormed maybe potential outreach activities, that could be very helpful for us. Thank you.
Before this outreach program, I had a couple of prior experience working with museums to, let's say, to display what we have found in our research. But for most of those experiences, they're based on just static displays, like images. We didn't directly involve in the actually planning, installation of those exhibits. And so during when we started our project, we noticed that like 2D displays are not enough. So we also have been working with SEED on campus for other outreach activities. We already started using virtual reality programs for those activities. So at that time, it's kind of natural for me to combine the two together. And we just need let's say, a platform to do that. So that's why, that's how the conversation with Chelsea, with Phyllis started, and then it goes from there.
So for us, we started having conversations very early, and kind of our initial thought was perhaps to do a museum exhibit, as has been done by others. We're particularly interested in that approach because chemistry tends to be underrepresented in science museums relative to physics and biology, generally speaking. But oftentimes there's a good reason for that, and that is because to do a lot of the interactive chemistry types of activities, they often require supervision for safety reasons. And so on polymer chemistry, I know of maybe 1 or 2 museum exhibits kind of in the traditional static display context. But the engagement can be a little bit low because oftentimes there's like, here's something made out of polypropylene. Now we know that yogurt cups are made out of polypropylene, and you get your 4 seconds of engagement and limited learning in some of those interactions. And so in our conversations, we kind of evolved toward this idea that maybe an in-museum show or a program would be more appropriate to this, because then we could start to deploy a lot of the standard polymer chemistry demos and actually do wet chemistry that could start to produce a better engagement and ideally lead to better learning outcomes. Whether or not that's successful, that still remains to be seen. I think it will be. But I suspect there will be many rounds of iteration of this as we begin to refine what the most effective approach is for communicating kind of our fundamental scientific concepts in a way that's very accessible and engaging.
I want to add just a little bit there. Thank you. I'll say that both Ling and Michael were really great about getting in touch with us, and this is one y'all call us now. Don't call. You can call us in July, but we'd really prefer it if you let's talk now about what you want to do, because we can help you dream. And the other thing that both Ling and Michael were great about that. We had months to talk before the grant was due, and that really helped shape something that was really useful and valuable to the museums. The second thing I want to say is that if you're not sure if what you're doing will work with kids, then bring it to Hokie for a day. You can try it 6 times in a row for 6 minutes. If it's a complete dud, it's okay. They have 5 other things to do, but you'll learn things from it. So there are lots of places to try out things. I had a question back here. I'm not supposed to be talking and doing questions at once. That's harder.
So what kind of data do you guys collect from this, both qualitative and quantitative, and what can you give folks that are interested in putting in a grant into their broader impact section?
Sure. Of course, I would say it depends, but we collect qualitative data, we collect quantitative data. Again, we can collect data that's related to learning or other kinds of effective outcomes, such as interest, skill, awareness, those kinds of things. And so we can help researchers develop instruments. If they need to do more of like a homegrown kind of survey or focus group, we can let them know when a pre-post test may not be such a great idea. You know, if you're just doing a very short one-time outreach events, we can help you find other evaluation methods that are more appropriate and that might be appropriate and fun for your audience of children, for example. And we also provide all the tracking data. You know, if you come to one of our large events like Virginia Tech Science Festival or Hokie for a day, we do all the evaluation for all those events. So we have satisfaction outcomes. We typically track demographics, so we can help you if you're trying to reach underrepresented student populations. We work with a lot of Title I schools. So again, trying to broaden our participation in STEM. So lots of different options there. And again, if you come to us early, we can tailor your evaluation. We can help you do timelines. We will help you write your budget justification, all of that. So.
All right, well, we are at time, so I want to thank you all again for being here this morning. If you have questions or want to talk to us more about your own grant or your ideas coming up, we're here. We'll be around for a little while here. I hope you have the rest of your day. I hope you can stay comfortable and enjoy the rain as well. Have a great day and great weekend.